Hello everyone, welcome to the sixth video lecture on multivibrators. So in today's lecture we will be formally introduced to the most important types of multivibrators that we will be using in most of our systems in the electronics field. So it is important for you to understand the working of each of these multivibrators, and you should also be able to recognize these multivibrators whenever you find them in some system. So these things will come later, but let us first quickly start on understanding what are these different types of multivibrators. Now please remember, whatever may be the name, whatever may be the function of the multivibrator, all multivibrators are made of a transistor as a switch. Of course, we will be introduced to other active devices like a FET. We can also use operational amplifier, but we will only focus on transistor now. So we use transistors as switches, and we use RC circuits to provide us the required charging and discharging of the capacitor, and also control the switching times of the transistors or the switches. So this is the basic concept which can be combined in various forms like permutations and combinations. We will get different types of circuit behavior. So let us first try to understand the three important types of multivibrators, which are called as the astable, monostable and bistable multivibrators. Now first of all, we have to understand what is the way in which a multivibrator functions. Now a multivibrator is any circuit, okay, any circuit that provides an output which can have only one of the two states. That means if you look at this waveform here, I will call this bottom line as one level and the top as the second level. Now you can call it as a voltage, you can call it as some high or true or false, but essentially the output will have only two levels, and the output at any given time can occupy only one of these two levels. Now coming back to our transistor as a switch here, the output of the transistor is either high, that is plus V, or low, that is 0 at any given time. So a transistor is operated as a switch, so it will have either a high or a low output at any given time. We can call this high and low as the two different states of the circuit. Now when do we call a circuit as an astable multivibrator? Let us try to understand that. We call a circuit as an astable multivibrator when the output is able to move from low level to high level, low state to high state, that means one state to the other state, but it cannot remain there forever. It cannot remain either in the high state or in the low state. So both are not permanent states. That means an astable multivibrator is a circuit which we have to design in such a way that the output will be low for some time, it will be in the low state for some time, and after a particular duration it will go to the high state, okay, and again it will not remain here forever. For a particular time it will be in the high state, then again exactly after this duration is completed it will again come back to the low state. So you can see here the high state will be for a particular duration, low state will be for a particular duration. So it will be oscillating between the high and the low states continuously on its own. Okay, so we will not be giving any input for that. Okay, now we will see shortly that an stable multivibrator is such a circuit. Okay, now you can see here the transistor Q1 and Q2 act like switches, and when this transistor Q1 is in saturation, that means Q1 output is low, then this transistor output will be high. Okay, and it will remain high until the voltage at C1 reaches 0.7 volts. We have already seen that. So this will go to negative, it has to charge through RB2, and then once it reaches 0.7, the Q2 will become saturated. So when Q2 becomes saturated or goes on, this voltage suddenly becomes 0 from a high value, and this will be directly translated to the base by the same amount. So Q1 will become high. So when Q1 is high, Q2 will be low, and Q1 is low, Q2 will be high. So this keeps on happening without any external involvement of any other signal. So we don't have to give any external signal to this circuit to behave like this. So the output of an stable multivibrator will be, see this waveform we are taking either at Q2 or at Q1 collector, not both of them, because Q1 output, if it is like this, Q2 output will be reverse of this one. That means when Q1 is high, Q2 will be low. So we will come into those details later. So just remember, a stable multivibrator consists of two states, and the multivibrator will not be constantly at one state. So it will be for fixed duration, it will be in one state, remaining duration it will be in the other state. So this is always constant. So this and this sometimes they can be equal or they can be different also. There is no rule that both are equal. Okay, now on what basis these two will be equal or unequal, we will decide these things when we are actually analyzing the stable multivibrator. Now coming to the monostable multivibrator, which is the second type. Now this multivibrator also has two states, that means a high state or a low state. Now when will this be in the low state, when will this be in the high states? We have to understand that unlike the stable multivibrator, monostable multivibrator always wishes to be in one state. Let us assume that is the low state. Let us say monostable multivibrator says, no, I am not interested, I don't want to go to the high state, please leave me alone, I want to be in the low state only. Okay, that means monostable multivibrator given a choice would like to be in the one state only. So if we calling it as low state, we will call this as the stable state. Why are we calling this as the stable state? Because if everything is left alone, it will come back and be in this state. So it is stable in this state, it won't change. Okay, now we want the monostable multivibrator to go to the other state. Okay, now take a stable multivibrator, we don't have to tell anything, it will go to the other state, it will come back to this state on its own, it will be doing that. Okay, whereas monostable multivibrator is not like that. No, I want to be in low state only. Now we have to tell, please go to the high state. We have to tell the multivibrator. Now how do we tell the multivibrator? We have to give a signal. Okay, now whenever a signal has to be given to the multivibrators to change the state from one state to the other state, we call that as a trigger. Okay, just remember. So what is a trigger? A trigger is a signal which is having a very short duration. Okay, it does not have any specific width of the pulse, but this will just tell the monostable multivibrator, hey, you are in the low state for a very long time, hey, why don't you go to the high state once? This trigger is giving that message. How it will be applied in the actual circuit, we will see later. So what is happening here is, in the case of stable multivibrator, we are not giving any trigger, but the output is changing from low state to high state to low state to high state. In the monostable multivibrator, if everything is left alone, the monostable multivibrator will be in the low state only. Okay, now you may ask, all multivibrators will be in the low state? No. Some multivibrators can be desirous of being only in the high state. Okay, then what do? We give a trigger pulse. We give a trigger pulse to the monostable multivibrator to change the state. We will tell the monostable multivibrator, you are in the stable state for a very long time. Please go to the other state. We are giving that pulse. That is called as a trigger pulse. Now what will happen in the case of monostable multivibrator is, it will see the trigger and it has to respond. Okay, it will take the trigger, it will change the state. Okay, now after changing the state, what happens in this circuit, or what should happen is, it will be in this state for a fixed duration. It will be in this state for a fixed duration, and after this duration is completed, okay, then it will come back to its stable state. See how funny it is. So when a trigger pulse is given, the monostable multivibrator, which likes to be in this state, is forced to go to the other state, and it will be there only for a fixed duration, and after the duration is completed, it will come back to its stable state. Okay, now this is what is called as a monostable. So why are we calling it as monostable? You must be guessing now. It is called monostable because out of the two states, it is stable only in one state, that is this state. Okay, once it is in low, it will be remaining there unless and until a trigger pulse is given to the monostable multivibrator. Okay, now once you give the trigger pulse, it will go to the other state. Now this state, it is not going to be there forever. It is going to come back. That means on its own it is going to come back. You don't have to give trigger pulse. So this state is not a permanent state. Okay, so it is not a permanently stable state. So we call this state as a quasi stable state. So what do we call this? We call this as a quasi stable state. So it is not permanently stable here. This is quasi stable state, this is the permanently stable state. So because only one stable state is there in monostable multivibrator, which is this level, we are calling it as a monostable multivibrator. We'll come back to this quickly. Now we'll go to the bistable multivibrator. Now obviously you can very easily guess that a stable does not remain stable in either the low state or the high state. Monostable multivibrator remains stable in the low state, but if a trigger pulse is given, it will go to the quasi-stable state, it will remain there for a fixed duration, and it will come back on its own back to the stable state. Now what about bistable? Now bistable is the third difference. So in the bistable state also there are two different states. Now assuming that initially the bistable multivibrator output is at the low level, low state, this first state, then we want this bistable multivibrator to go to the other state. Now just like in monostable multivibrator, we would like to give a trigger pulse. Okay, now let us assume that we are giving a trigger pulse T1. Okay, now when we give a trigger pulse T1, what happens is, from the low state it will go to the high state. Okay, and we keep quiet, we don't do anything, then what happens is, it will try to remain only in this high state. It will not come back on its own. Although here we are showing after some fixed time it is coming back, it is not coming back on its own. It is coming back only when another trigger pulse is given, which we are calling as T2. Okay, so when T1 trigger pulse is given, it is going from low to high, and if no trigger pulse is given after this, it will continue to remain in T1 state only, although it is not shown here. It will continue to remain. How do you bring it back to T2, this lower level? You have to give another trigger pulse called T2, so that it will come back from the high level to the low level. Understood? So, in the bistable multivibrator, the output is stable in both levels. So, if you give a trigger pulse for it to be in the low level, it will continue to be in the low level only forever. Okay, and if you want it to go from low level to high level, then obviously you have to give another trigger pulse. So, in a bistable multivibrator, it is stable in both states, either the low state or the high state. It is stable, that means it does not change with the time. When will it change? It will change only when a trigger pulse is given. Okay, now let me give a very interesting or maybe some funny example to you. Let us say, let us not use this low level and high level. Let us say what do you call this is study. I'll call this as a study, and I'll call this as a play. I'll call this as a play. So, I have a play situation here, I have a study situation here. Just try to take it in a what do you call humorous way. Now, let us say play and study are the two states of a student. Okay. Now, what does a student wants to do? There are different students. Okay. There are some students who would like to play, and they get bored very quickly, and with the play they'll come back and study. Okay, you will find some students like that. They'll be studying for some fixed time, then again they'll come back and play. So they are, we can call it in two ways. One is, okay, they have time cut out for studies and play. They are spending equal time for study and play. Okay, study, play, study, play, study, play. Okay, so okay, study may be more time, play may be less time. Okay, now such students will call as good students. Study is less, play is more. If they are sports people, okay, otherwise we will say they are not so good students, they can improve. But whatever they are, all such students who move from study to play, play to study, study to play, play to study on their own, we call them as a stable behavior. Okay, they are neither stable here nor stable here. Okay, so they are moving without any trigger. There is no trigger. Nobody is telling them to study, nobody is telling them to play, but they are doing it on their own. So that is called as a stable behavior. Now let us come to monostable. What happens here? Supposing we put the same situation here, like study and play. So let us say that the top portion is study, this is study, and this is play. Okay, now in this case, let us assume the default behavior is play for the student. We are taking a naughty student here. Okay, now student is trying to play all the time. Given a choice, he will be playing only. Now what will happen if you leave him like that? He will continue to play, is it not? When he is continuing to play, obviously somebody at home is not happy, so they want him to study also. Okay, so what the mummy is there, so mummy or daddy, they are the trigger. So what they will tell is, they'll simply shout, they'll tell, hey, please come back and study. They will shout. So what will happen? Because daddy called, because mummy called, one trigger, from the play mode the student will move to study mode. And how long he will study? Will he continue to study forever without playing? Or will he study for some time, play, and again go to study? No, because he is having a different behavior, monostable. He is stable in play only, he is very happy with playing only. So what he will do is, because mummy told, he will he will go to study, he'll come to the study room, sit there, he will study for maybe some fixed time, maybe 1 hour. He'll be observing, okay, 1 hour mummy is happy. Then immediately, without anybody telling him, he'll go back to play. He will go back to play. That is his behavior. Now mummy won't keep quiet. After some time, mummy will see the student is again playing. Then somewhere here or here, when mummy feels that he should be studying, mummy will give one more shout, one more trigger. Then what will happen? Here again he has to go to study, and again he'll fix a time only he'll be studying. Again he'll come back to play. If mummy is very clever, mummy knows how to give the trigger at regular times by knowing how much time student will spend fixed time. So mummy can control the output depending on the requirement. So that is called as a monostable multivibrator. Okay. Now coming to the bistable multivibrator, you can see here there are some two good students. Okay, that means they don't know what to do. Okay, so what they'll be doing is they'll be stable in both conditions. They study well, they play well also. So but unfortunately they can't control. So when they are studying, they'll continue to study from morning till evening. They're studying. So mummy is watching, mummy is telling, hey, how long you'll study, go and play. So mummy will give one trigger pulse T1. Okay, now they'll go they'll go and play. T2 they will give and they'll go and play. Okay, now he's playing. Again mummy is worried, this fellow is always playing, now you should study also. So again mummy will give a trigger pulse T1. So here T1 and T2 are given at different locations. Okay, if he is studying, trigger pulse is given to change from study to play. If he is playing, trigger pulse is given to change from play to studies. I am giving all these examples for you to have a quick idea about what we are trying to deal with. So similarly, in electronic systems also, we need to generate outputs like this. Sometimes we need to generate an output which is continuously low for some time and then it goes high for a fixed time. So something like this type of output, if it is required, we have to use a circuit called a stable multivibrator. Now if I want to use a circuit which generates a fixed pulse, but it won't remain there, it will come back on its own to the stable state, I will use a monostable multivibrator which requires a single trigger pulse. Now if I want an output which remains stable only depending on my requirement, I require 2 trigger pulses, then I will be using a bistable multivibrator. So essentially we have to understand how these circuits are designed and how we can calculate the various widths of the time which they spend either in the high or the low condition, and what is the pulse width here, what is the frequency here, and all these things we need to calculate. So for this, the important points that we have to remember is multivibrators are of 3 types. Of course there are other types also in bistable and monostable, slight variations depending on the requirement, and we will study them from a more in-depth understanding point of view. So essentially remember there are 3 types of multivibrators, each functions in a different way, all are important. Don't take study play as the example, it is only to make you understand the effect of trigger on the output. So we need all the 3. Now the question is, where do we use what type of multivibrator? Obviously depends on the application. So you need to know thoroughly how each one works, you should know how to analyze them, and after that only you will be able to appreciate how these circuits are going to function in a real situation. Okay. Now formally, if somebody asks you what is this trigger, what is meant by this trigger pulse, just remember a trigger pulse is an asynchronous, that means you never know when it comes. There this example is important. Supposing the student is playing, okay, now mummy may forget that he is playing, suddenly mummy will remember somewhere here, okay, and mummy will shout, hey Monu, come back and play. So trigger pulse will come here, okay, because it has come here, will it come again here? We don't know. It may come here or may not come here. So there is no time for that. Trigger pulse can come anytime. That is why it is called asynchronous. It is not connected with any specific time or clock. So a trigger pulse is an asynchronous event that causes a specific change in the logical state of a circuit. Now you can relate the definition to what is happening here. A trigger pulse has come here. It has come without any specific time, and what is happening after the trigger pulse has come? At this time, specific change in the logical state of the circuit. The change is occurring in the logical state. What is the specific change? From the low level, the circuit output has become high. From low it has gone to high. So that is what you have to remember. Okay. Now quasi-stable will come only in the monostable multivibrator. Stable, both states are not stable. So nothing like this is quasi or this is quasi. Both are not stable. So we will call it as stable. Here both are stable. This is stable, this is stable. To change from this to this, we need to give a trigger pulse. Now you may be wondering, so here there are two trigger pulses. Do we give at two different places? Two different places do we get these trigger pulses? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay, as an example, supposing you are playing, your mummy may call and say study. So mummy is giving the trigger pulse for study. Now while you are studying, your friends may give a signal from outside, hey, come to play. So your friends are giving a trigger for playing. So mummy is giving a trigger to study, friends are giving trigger to play. So two different people can give, or sometimes mummy can tell, I will control your study, I will control your play. So mummy can give a single trigger pulse. Now no T1 and T2. So when a single pulse is coming like T, for the first T, if you are in play, you will go to study. If you are in study, you will go to play. The same T. Now T1 and T2 can be replaced with T. So whenever T comes from, if you are in play, you will go to study. If you are in study, you will go to play. Okay. So like that, you can keep moving from one state to another state. Now coming to the figure 12, which we have discussed earlier. Now we have seen that the first circuit that we have come across is called as the stable multivibrator. Now this circuit, we have cross coupled two transistors. The base is connected to the RC junction of the first transistor, and the base of the first transistor is connected to the RC junction of the second transistor. And we can take the output at Q1, we can also take the output at Q2. But remember, the output at Q1 is a complement of the output of Q2. That means when Q1 output is high, Q2 output will be low, and when Q1 output is low, Q2 output will be high. We will see all those things shortly. So try to draw this circuit, try to understand its function. I have already explained to you, and we will solve some problems, and also we will learn how to plot the waveforms at each of these locations, like collector of Q2, base of Q2, collector of Q1, base of Q1. We should know how to draw the waveforms in phase. That means what is happening at T0 at Q1 collector, and at the same time what is happening at VB1, what is happening at VB2, what is happening at Q2. We should be able to plot the waveforms. So that will be a separate study about a stable multivibrator. When we do that, we will also derive the expressions for the time during which it will remain in one state and time during which it will remain in the other states. We can call it as T1 and T2. Okay, so just remember these things. And now, after knowing that a stable circuit is one where not stable in any of the two states that the output can be in. Once we understand this one, we will move on to understanding all the three multivibrators with the help of some simple waveforms. Okay, so we will take the waveforms. It is same lesson. Okay, multivibrator circuits. I have put it in paint like this. So as I told you, I am more comfortable with paint. Now here what I did is I have made 3 circuits. So you can see from here to the left side, this is a stable multivibrator. Figure 14, same figure, whatever we have seen here, the same figure we are drawing one more time here. Okay, this is 14. Now F13 I kept here because stable I already introduced to you, so I just swapped it. Okay, actually monostable should come first, you will tell me later. So monostable should come first, but I put it here. So stable, monostable and bistable. So let us try to get a clear idea about these three. We should be able to recognize them very easily when we see them for analysis later. Now just above each of these circuits we are having the waveforms. Okay, now this gray line here, this is a 0 level for the trigger. So I am calling this as the trigger. So whenever a trigger pulse is given, what happens at the output of a collector of Q1 in all these three cases, not just stable, monostable and bistable also, we will try to understand by looking at the waveforms at the top. So let us start. Now in the case of stable, as I already told you, the circuit is no different, the same circuit is there. At the collector of Q1, what will happen? So you can see here at the collector of Q1, this waveform, the output will go high for a duration of T1 and it will be low for a duration of T2, and again it will be high for a duration of T1 and it will be low for a duration of T2, like this. So it will be in one state for T1 time, it will be in the other state for T2 time. So T1, T2, T1, T2, it does not change at all. Okay, T1 is fixed, T2 is fixed for this circuit. Now who decides T1 and T2? Obviously these circuit components will decide, especially the resistor and capacitors, these two. Supposing these two RC and RC are same, these two values and these two values are same, then obviously T1 and T2 must be same, equal. Okay, if they are not same, then T1 and T2 will be different. Sometimes this can be more, this can be less. Okay, they are not equal. Okay, whatever may be the values of RC, depending on that, the output at Q1 or Q2 will be decided. So if the output at Q1 is like this, what will be the output at Q2? It will be ulta of this one, exactly same. Just to make you understand, I will just do a small manipulation here, you will understand what will happen. So I will simply at Q2 it will be like this, ulta. Understood? So for T1 time it will be off, that means low level, Q2 will be low. Got it? That is how you have to remember. So we will do more analysis, don't worry. Now what is the important thing about a stable multivibrator? No trigger pulses are required. So no trigger pulses are given here, you can see. So just a gray line is there, no trigger pulses are there. How does a trigger pulse look like? It looks like this here. These are all the trigger pulses. Now trigger pulses can be given, they can be positive going, they can be negative going also. Okay. Now for example, if I give a trigger pulse here, let us take the monostable multivibrator, which requires only a single trigger pulse. If I give a trigger pulse to the base of Q1, which is negative going, okay, negative going means normally it is 0, but it is becoming minus, something like minus V. What will happen? Momentarily this transistor will be cut off because base is going to negative. So when this transistor is cut off, Vc1 will go high. You can see here Vc1 is going high to V volts. Okay. Now when this is going high, how long will it remain high? For that you need to understand the operation of this circuit. So in this case you can see when the base is going to negative, Q1 collector is going high, so naturally lot of current will go through the Q2 transistor and this transistor will go into saturation and the collector will suddenly go to 0. So when this goes to 0, the base also becomes dropped by the same amount and this will become negative. It will continue to be in negative voltage. So conductor will continue to be high. How long it will be high? We have seen here that this RB1 and C1, this particular combination, you can see is charging through this path. Okay. Now this path, while it is charging, this voltage will slowly rise from VB is at minus V to 0.7. It will charge from VB is at minus V to 0.7. So once it reaches 0.7, the collector will become 0. Collector voltage will become 0 because transistor will go into saturation. So the time taken for this capacitor C1 to charge from VB is at minus V to 0.7 is the time during which the Q1 will be remaining in the high position. That is the important point here. So this capacitor and this resistor will decide, these two will decide the time taken for Q1 to be high. Understood? So after that what happens? This will be saturated and collector will become 0. Nothing will happen. When this is 0, this is high, and this capacitor will charge to V, and this voltage is 0.7. So Q1 will be on, Q2 will be off, and they will remain like that forever. Okay. Now you don't want them to remain like that. Then what will you do? You will give one more negative trigger pulse. Somewhere else you will give. Somewhere here you will give a negative trigger pulse to Q1. Then what will happen? Again the output of Q1 will go high. Again it will be there for high until C1 charges to 0.7, and then again it will come back to 0. Every time you want this to go high, you will give a negative trigger pulse. Okay, that is how you are making the circuit operate in the monostable condition. Now you may ask a question, sir, how do I give a positive trigger pulse? Now you will give the trigger pulse in such a way that the circuit will function in the way we want it to function. So if you want to give a positive trigger pulse, you give it here. You give it to the base of Q2. So when you give a positive trigger pulse here, then this transistor will become saturated. You will get a negative voltage here. This transistor will go high. Then also it will work in the same way. No difference. Okay. That is how the monostable multivibrator will be working. Okay. Fine. So I'm sorry. Now we will go to the third type of multivibrator circuit, which is called as the bistable. You already know what a bistable multivibrator is. So we are going to look at this bistable multivibrator operation using the circuit and the waveforms. Now you observe the point here, because it has to be stable in both states, there are no capacitors. If there is a capacitor, what is happening in monostable? It is remaining in one state for some time and immediately coming back. We don't want that to happen. So we will remove the capacitor and we will simply connect through a resistor the collector of Q1 to the base of Q2 and collector of Q2 to base of Q1. Like this we will be connecting, and we will give a trigger facility at the base for both the transistors. So what will happen in this situation? In this situation, supposing I give the trigger pulse 1, trigger 1 I give, okay, then what will happen? This trigger 1 is positive going. Where am I giving it? I am giving it here. So when this is going positive, what will happen? Q1 will become saturated. So you can see here the Q1 output is going from high state to low state. The collector has become 0. Now it will continue to remain at 0 unless and until you are giving another trigger pulse for this to go to high. Okay. Now how do you give it? You give at the base of the second transistor. So at the second transistor, once you give a positive going trigger pulse, this transistor will become on. Because this has become on, this has become 0. So this transistor has to go into cutoff. So the output will go high. Okay. It will remain high forever unless you want it to come back. Now how do you make it come back? You make it come back by again giving a trigger pulse here. Okay. Now please remember, the 1 and 2 are separate, they are not coming on the same line. So this is coming on a separate line, this is coming on a separate line. So we are calling this simply separated them by numbers. So I decided not to put them on separate things. So this is coming, and again 1 is coming here. So 2 is coming here, 2 is again coming here. Whenever trigger pulse 1 is given, this circuit will go from high state to low state. Whenever trigger pulse 2 is given, Q1 collector will go from low state to high states. Like this we can manipulate. Now there are lot of points which may come to your mind, like, sir, how can I give this trigger pulse to the circuits? Obviously you have to give it through resistor and make sure that the proper biasing is maintained. Okay, you just simply can't connect whatever way we like. And second thing is, what we are showing is the basic functioning of the transistor circuits. Now for example, if you try to make a circuit using this circuit diagram, sometimes what happens, when you give the power to the circuit, nothing will come at the output. That means you won't get any such what do you call oscillatory output, some high and low like that. You won't get it. You'll be wondering what has happened. Okay, now many times what happens is, the circuit will fail to go into that oscillatory mode. Okay, because of the close equivalence of the beta values of the transistors or internal issues. So Q1 and Q2 may not be complementing each other. So in such a situation, you need to do something more to this circuit, so that every time you give power, it will be providing a output like this. So these things we will discuss when we are separately talking about design of a stable multivibrator. Now coming to the monostable multivibrator also, we need to provide a trigger pulse in such a way that the trigger pulse operates in the way we want without disturbing the biasing of the circuit. So that also we will discuss when we are talking about the monostable multivibrator. Now bistable multivibrator is looks much simpler, but there are many varieties of bistable multivibrator circuits, and I'll make a list of all of them, and then one by one we will try to study in detail until we become perfect about these multivibrator circuits. Now in the coming classes we are going to discuss multivibrator circuits in depth, and the same concepts about capacitor charging, discharging, transistor working like a switch, all these things will come in the second part of fifth unit also. So please pay attention, please focus on your study of these concepts, and then we will move to the next stage. So just I want to make a small correction here. I told you that F14, this is F13 will come here and F14 will come here. So I have not shifted the description of stable and monostable. I wanted to keep it here. So I'll make this small change in the description. So this is monostable, and I swapped the figures but forgot to swap the description. Now before concluding, let us go through these points and then we can call it a day for today. Now a stable multivibrator, not stable in any of the two states that the output can be in. For today this is enough. Monostable, stable only in one of the two states, its output can be in. The other state is the unstable state or the quasi stable state. Bistable is output is stable in both states. Okay, that is how you have to understand. So technically a stable does not use any trigger pulses, monostable uses only a single trigger pulse, bistable technically uses two different trigger pulses. But if you want a single trigger pulse to do this shifting from low to high and high to low, that also is possible. Okay, that is also possible by properly designing the circuit. Okay, now don't assume that if a circuit is having a single trigger pulse input, it is a monostable. Sometimes it can be bistable also. Okay, so with that point we will conclude for today. If you have any doubts, please feel free to talk to me, or please answer the quiz which I will be uploading after some time, maybe today sometime in the evening. I will update with you. Okay, so please go through the earlier videos also, give your feedback, which is extremely valuable to me in making the future videos. So thank you all. God bless you.